Hey everyone, Porterhouse here, and today I'm going to do a review of Rage 2 and then also show you a bit of the gameplay. Now, I realize that the game has been out for a while and I had actually pre-ordered it ages ago. Unfortunately, with my job being the way it is, I kind of forgot about it. I've been kind of neglecting gaming except for, casual play and my channel, which is unfortunate for both me and you folks. But I came across it in my library a little while back, and I went, oh yeah, I forgot I pre-ordered this. I installed it, started playing, and I have not looked back since. Now, first I'm going to say that I played the first Rage over and over again, and I enjoyed it immensely. So I was a little worried about how the sequel would compare. Well, it turns out that I shouldn't have stressed about it at all. Rage 2 has all of the action and intense gameplay its predecessor had and more. So what's different about this game? Well, it takes place 30 years after the original, and instead of playing as Nicholas Rain, you play as Walker, who is a ranger. Now you can play male or female at the starting town of Vineland, which is attacked in the opening sequences of the game, and it also acts as a tutorial for how to control your character and everything. During that battle, Walker puts on a dead comrade's ranger armor and becomes the last Vineland Ranger. Alright, now first we're going to talk about some of the aspects of the game and some of the differences between Rage 1 and Rage 2. Now, first up, in Rage 1 you did not have abilities. Now, the abilities in Rage 2 is something granted to Walker by something called nanotrites, which are found across the wasteland in the arcs. These abilities range from constitution upgrades to amazing attacks like slam and shatter. You can also get one that's called defib, which can allow you to recover from a very near-death experience. And pay attention to the tutorial for that one, because I didn't, and it was a source of frustration, and many other folks apparently had the same problem. So make sure you're watching the tutorial. Now, all of these abilities can be upgraded. For instance, you can upgrade Constitution to give you, I think it was up to 40% bullet resistance or damage resistance from bullets. So you can do more damage with slam and shatter, and you can move faster with dash and all kinds of things. So once you start the game and you start getting these abilities, take a look at the upgrades for them and make sure you upgrade them as you go. Now, next up, I want to talk about weapons. Now, sadly, Rage 2 doesn't have all the weapons that we had in the original Rage yet. And I'll get to that yet in a moment. Now, the weapons that are there at the beginning of the game are pretty awesome. I was particularly fond of the shotgun, the firestorm, revolver, and the grab dart. Now, if you ordered the deluxe edition, you can also get the BFG 9000, which I maybe used twice in the whole game. I realize it's an ID software game, but they didn't really have to do that. I almost consider that a waste of resources. Now, some of the things I do miss that was in Rage 1 was the sniper rifle and the striker crossbow. There are points in the game where sniping from a distance really would have come in handy. Now, I do want to note that one of my favorites, the wing stick, is still in there, and I love that in the first game. And I actually didn't use it that much in this game until I started doing the bounties, and now I use it all the time. So it's a lot of fun to use that wing stick. And that is also upgraded, so now I can actually take out multiple enemies with it, which is really cool. Now, again, the weapons, all of the ranger weapons, can be found in the arcs. Now, there is one special weapon, but you had to order the deluxe edition pre-order to get it, and you'll actually see some of the gameplay about that a little bit later. All right, now next I want to talk about NPCs, the characters in the storyline of the game. Now, some of the characters from the previous game will make a reappearance in the new game. Obviously, since it's 30 years later, they'll be older, more worn down. Now, one of the first characters you'll meet is Captain Marshall, who was the subject of a rescue mission in Rage 1, and now he's kind of old, got a big old bushy beard, and now he's just John Marshall, and he's running a town called Gun Barrel. Now, the second one you will likely meet is Lusum Hagar. Now, she is the sort of perky young lady you meet in the first game that teaches you how to throw a wing stick, and in fact gives you your first wing stick. So now she's grown up and kind of milfy, and she is the mayor of Wellspring. And both of those characters will play an important role in the development of the storyline. Now, finally, believe it or not, it's Dr. Kvasir, who also plays a pivotal role in the game, of course. But he doesn't look any different, really, than he did in the first game. He does have a new sort of unusual way of getting around, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I can guarantee that you will not look at diapers the same way again, ever. That's all I'm going to say about it. Now, anyway, other than that, most of the NPCs are new in the game. Now, my favorite is Lily Prawley, who is your character's sort of adopted sister, meaning that, yes, you are an orphan, and you were raised by Lily's mother, so you sort of regard Lily as a sister. And she's kind of feisty and perky, and she plays an important role at the beginning of the game and throughout, and especially toward the end, but I'm not going to give you any spoilers on that regards. Now, that all being said, I do actually miss one character I wish they had put in Rage 2, and that is Dan Hagar. I absolutely loved him in Rage 1. Now, that character was voiced in the original game by John Goodman. And the reason that came about, just a little bit of trivia for you, the makers of the game were looking at the concept art and some of the video, and saw that character and went, holy crap, that's Walter Sobchak from The Big Lebowski. It was a character played by John Goodman. And so they contacted John Goodman, asked him to voice act for them, and he did, and the rest is history. So a little bit of trivia for you. So finally, on the subject of characters, I will say that a villain from the previous game does make a dramatic reappearance. Now, in the interest of not giving you spoilers, I'm not going to say who it is or how you meet him, but you won't have long to wait. That's all I have to say. So anyway, that's it for characters. All of the character development was very well done, and it was especially interesting to see Lusum Hagar, sort of all grown up and being responsible. So the character development, I thought, was done very well in this game. Well, there's a lot more to this game than I've talked about so far, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But first, I wanted to show you a little gameplay. This is a mission I got for pre-ordering the deluxe edition, which not only gives you a unique mission, but a unique weapon as well. So I hope you enjoy, and we will be back after the clip.
Hey, John Marshall sent me. Said you two go back?
Yes. I know John well. And I know you, Walker. I've heard good things about you. John sent you to help me. Deep Swamp used to be quiet. Stray humans kept to themselves. Mutants started killing randomly to please their death god. Mutant superstition. The killings made the river hogs start stirring, leaving hog territory, muscling in on Deep Swamp. You saw the dead hogs outside. You understand. To stop the hog invasion, I ask you to go into the mutant caverns, destroy their death god fetish.
Kill the mutant death god to stop the hog invasion. That makes a strange kind of sense to me. I'll see what I can do.
Okay, we're going to Death God, whatever the hell it is. The Hilk. The Hilk. Okay, apparently it's not that far away, so we're gonna go pay it a visit and see what I can do.
Destination reached.
And just, well, you know what? Oh.
Here we are, the mutant caverns. Okay, let's locate their death god fetish and bust it up.
I really like this gun. You don't know, it's called the gravity shot. So what it does is the right trigger plants these bullets, and the left trigger plants a sort of gravity well. And the more rounds you put into something, the stronger that becomes. Problem with it, though, is I burn it. Did not mean to do that. I goofed. Oh God, would you die? Also, I was crawling, I'm not sure why. It's back here. An empty room. Give me a shitload of grab darts, which is ominous. And I'm almost sure something really nasty gonna pop out of the hole the minute I hit the floor. No? Okay. place is just gross. Gross! It's like my old bachelor pad. On. Ow! Some bitch. I'm gonna go back to the gravity dart. I remember which one it is. There it is. Storage container in here? Thing is showing one. Oh, there it is. Probably over here somewhere. Huh. Oh, right there. Walk right by it. Probably already missed a couple of those. What is this? Oh. Alrighty, never mind. Just die. Didn't do a very good. I didn't have rounds in the end. Freaking bastards. Going back to the crowd control special. Makes me nervous.
Holy shit, there it is. Looks strangely familiar. The armor and the pistol, that about does it. Huh, looks like my size, too. This stuff may be old, but it's awesome. Yeah? You say Nicky Rain? That's that. Time to give Marshall a heads up. Hey, Marsh. That weird guy, your old buddy. I did what he said. I destroyed an entire culture in the process. Plus, I got me some really old, but awesome art gear.
Yeah, you gotta go talk to my buddy again. He'll have some more stuff to say.
Okay. It's kind of creepy, but okay.
Hang on, I'm just refilling my ammo and everything, so hang on. that it over here? There's something missing. Oh. I swear I saw a storage thing for a second. Huh. I guess not. Alright. No, whatever. Walk right by it. Oh, I did. Oh yeah, I missed all kinds of storage things. Oh well.
We're here, sport.
This place looks deserted. Where is that guy? An old Vocalogue. Let's see what you got.
You did well. The river hogs are already pulling back. The death god is gone. Muti's gone. You found that old uniform. Also a gun. Keep them. They belonged to Nicholas Rain once. But he won't need them now. You do. And the guns. And a little rage.
I'll be damned. Nicholas Rain was the death god. Well, makes sense those muties thought so.
Hey! Everybody's out there having a grand old time. You know what? I'm gonna go kill them all. So as you saw from the gameplay footage, this is a very intense game. It actually sort of rewards you for being aggressive while you're fighting. The more kills you make, the higher your overdrive multiplier, and the higher your multiplier, the more Feltrite you get from kills, which also heals you. This can be boosted by your abilities, so you can go on a one-man or one-woman slaughter fest just to have a ton of fun. Now, couple this with overdrive, and you're basically a raging kill machine, at least for a short while. Now, speaking of overdrive, be sure to upgrade your abilities for even more carnage possibilities. Now, one of the things I missed earlier was talking about the factions. Now, currently there is the Resistance, the Authority, mutants, and then some various flavors of bandits, including the Goons, the Shrouded, and the River Hogs. Now, obviously you are in the Resistance, and while there is not a whole lot of development of the characteristics of the various factions, you will grow to dislike the bad guys for a whole slew of reasons. Also, there are numerous strangers that you will meet in the towns that can be a source of information and side quests. So be sure to talk to people you'll see with the little conversation bubble above their head. They may give you a quest or reward you for one that you have already done. Vendors in the game are numerous and varied in their personalities. The one in Wellspring is a little nuts. And I also found the traveling vendor to be somewhat humorous. Now, doing the various side quests will build your reputation with Marshall, Lusum, and Kvasir. I always have trouble pronouncing that. And this in turn will unlock projects that you can earn and select that will give you boosts of various types to weapons, crafting, and locating supplies. So be sure to do a ton of side quests. Now I want to talk a little bit about game aesthetics. The game is simply beautiful in parts and really does capture that gritty atmosphere of a post-apocalypse setting. The terrain is well detailed, as is the lighting and the environmental effects, and the combat effects, from gore to the clouds, sort of explosions and electrical effects that you get when you perform an ability. Those are spot on. They did a really good job in that. Now, for those of you that enjoy taking screenshots, the game itself has a built-in tool for taking screenshots where you can add filters, frames, you can move the camera around and even tilt the frame a little bit. I'm not going to lie, I take a lot of screenshots of all of my games, and I played around with this tool a lot. Now, there is one thing I said earlier that I want to clarify a bit. While you do get auto parts from destroying convoys, you don't get them from destroying the bandit bullies, although that's still fun to do. In addition, you can also get auto parts from winning Chaz car races, and that's a lot of fun too. It's a little mini game. I had a bit of fun with that, and you do get some nice rewards from that as well. I also want to suggest that you play a few rounds of Mutant Bash TV. You can win prizes, including the MBTV tokens, which you can redeem for goods at the gift shop at the Mutant Bash locations. Now, I will tell you to beware of the cutscene introduction for the host. That could be a little disturbing. I'm not going to say anything more. Also, be on the lookout for Mutant Bash TV balloons just floating around in the wasteland. If you shoot them down, they'll drop a box which you can then bash open or shoot open. They'll explode, so don't be surprised. And it spits out a bunch of mutant spores and the MBTV tokens, which you can then later spend at the store. And if you complete a certain number of them, which I have done, you'll also get a shotgun skin. So it is worth doing that as well. Now, speaking of skins, you can get a ton of skins for weapons, your vehicles, and stuff for free by completing various tasks and events. So keep an eye out for those Community Wasteland Challenge events. And they have one going on right now for bounties. And if they get, I believe it was 50,000 bounties completed by the community in general, everybody who participates gets a skin for the rocket launcher. So I have been doing that a little bit. It's a bit grindy because a lot of the bounty missions are very similar, if not exactly the same, including some of the names of the parties you're going after. But it is still kind of fun because the combat in this game is so fun. Okay, now remember that later that I mentioned earlier when discussing weapons? Well, now is time for that later. There are at least 2 DLCs featuring a new storyline, vehicles, enemies, and of course weapons that are coming out. The first, Rise of the Ghosts, and if you remember the first game, the Ghosts are a bandit faction in that. That will be released on the 26th of this month. And the second, Attack of the Drones, will be out later this fall. Now, I'm truly looking forward to both of those, not just before the action-packed fun, but I like a good storyline, and I love getting new toys to play with, so I really can't wait to check those both out, and I will be either creating Let's Play videos of those or streaming them either on my YouTube channel or on Twitch, so keep an eye out for that as well. And finally, I want to mention that I found this game immensely enjoyable, and I highly recommend that you purchase and play it. As for the replayability, it does have some value in that regard, but maybe only a couple times more, and mainly because you can choose a different gender for another playthrough. Now, that being said, if I had an actual scoring standard, which I really don't, I just usually say whether I like something or not, I would give the game a 9.5 out of 10, and I only knocked off that zero point 0.5 because I did not like the motorcycles in the game. Other than that, the game is terrific. They really knocked it out of the park with this one. Well, that's it for the review. I hope you found this video useful and entertaining. If so, please remember to hit that like button, drop me a comment down below, and subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. Once again, I'm your host, Porterhause, and I will see you all at the next review.